1. Cemetery etiquette.
These are the rules of the cemetery.
Rule 1. No writing/vandalism on the graves.
Rule 2, no running.
Rule 3. No yelling.
Rule 4, no stepping or stomping on the graves.
Rule 5. No messing with the graves.
Rule 6, no jumping or running over the graves.
Thank you for your time. Today we will be talking about how Mrs. Snell's 5th grade class drew rubbings on gravestones and headstones.
And how we made sketches of the Hogan Cemetery.
First, we looked at the graves and drew a sketch. We also did some rubbings on the graves. These are some of them.
Used crayons to do the rubbings. While someone held the paper against the gravestone.
That is how we drew the stones and rubbings. And then we all say thanks for watching.
Everything we did was measure the stone's distance. We had the drawings with us so we could write down the measurements.
Then we measured the fence. We added the length through all of the gravestones, even the ones that were far apart and the ones that didn't have names.
This is part 4 of the Hogan Cemetery project. In part 4, we learned about the cemetery and made a scale map on how far apart the stones were. We also found out how far apart the fence was and the graves. We also made the road next to the cemetery on the scale map. The cemetery was not far at all away from the school, so it wasn't that long of a walk. We also put how far it was in the scale map so people could see how far apart it was. For some of the graves on the scale map, we put pictures, but the other graves we drew instead. We wanted pictures because it looks better instead of people drawing it. But unfortunately, we couldn't get all of the pictures of the graves. We also did the compass rose so you know the direction. In part 5 of the Hogan Cemetery project, we researched the census records and other key sources like Phippsburg Historical Society records. First, we looked at death records. We also looked at primary documents such as the census of 1850 Phippsburg.
In this part of learning about the Hogan Cemetery, we read about the history of the Hogan Cemetery and the old PES 5th grade teacher, Miss Chapin, and about how she was the first person to pick up the cemetery in the years. First, we will tell you about the history of the Hogan Cemetery. The cemetery dates back all the way back to the 1800s. The first one that died was Margaret Riordan. Hogan Angela was the second.